is from Sylvan Lake, Alberta, from our friends at the Western Standard. Alberta football coach sacked for his views on trans ideology. And student athletes are speaking out in support of their coach as volunteers resign in protest. We actually have Sid Fizzard from Rebel News out there talking to the coach today on camera. It's Taylor Teague Johansson. He normally keeps his politics off the field and out of the locker room, but his views landed him in hot water when a TikTok video of his found its way onto the screen of the school's principal. He posts under anti-woke 55555. It's a 5-minute video that says trans ideology is being pushed on kids who don't need it, exacerbating their mental health issues. Where's the lie? He says this is creating a dangerous situation with mentally unhealthy trans and other gender confused people committing acts of violence, like the mass shooting in Minneapolis last week. Again, where's the lie? This is somebody who works with students, young people all the time. He's entitled to have an opinion on this, and particularly when his issue touches on sport, and that seems to be the battleground for trans ideology here in Alberta. This is just a good dude. Like, there are a lot of guys his age that are off doing other things, and he's coaching other young people. This seems to me like the symptom of COVID, where all the people who were moral were run out of town because they didn't bend the knee to the state, and the same thing's happening here. Wyatt?
Well, in the article, the Western Standard had put out, they had mentioned that Taylor had even said that, as a Christian, he doesn't want to see the principal, Alex Lambert, fired over basically targeting him for his, off-duty content. Like, he's not at work when he's making this stuff. He's making it on his own time. He was saying he wouldn't like to see her fired. That would be my one area of disagreement. If you're a principal and you are targeting somebody for their personal beliefs, frankly, things that, happen to align with reality, you should be fired because this was malicious. And how can any parent or student have trust in you as a neutral arbiter, which is what the principal is supposed to be? The manager of the school, who is supposed to basically play referee between teachers, between students and teachers, basically is supposed to be the most adult person in the room. And this person is trying to start petty fights with an assistant coach or like a co-coach of a football team. Somebody doing something, I believe it was like extracurricular, doing it for free for them, but that wasn't good enough because he didn't come with all the pre-packaged same beliefs that she had.
Yeah, and I know, Lisa, you're just itching to get into this, but this is collective punishment for the kids. Now they don't have a defensive coordinator, like, what did they do wrong? They are now being punished because their coach didn't toe the ideological line. He's being accused of violating the Education Act, but nobody can actually say how exactly he did that. Lisa, you're itching to talk.
Well, this is what Wyatt just described is the exact reason why principals should be elected by the members of their community just think about it. You have a problematic principal who is doing everything against the values of the community that they work in, not necessarily live in, but that they work in. They're importing their craziness to your kids, and there's no mechanism to get rid of them. None at all. If principals were elected by their local community, if you had a bad one like this principal, and I agree with you, Wyatt, that principal should be turfed for this.
Named and shamed.
That's right. If we elected our principals, there would be a way of identifying the bad ones and getting them out of there within a 2-year term. I mean, it's kind of in the new country, we're going to be doing a lot of things like this.
And no doubt there are great principals out there.
Sure.
But here's the problem with a lot of roles like principal in schools is that oftentimes you actually get the most union-friendly people pushed forward for these administrative roles. Why do you think that MLA Janice Irwin, one of the craziest NDP MLAs in Alberta, she served as a teacher for about 5 seconds, and somehow she became one of the co-principals of the school, one of the vice principals of the school. It's
Hideous.
because the most activistic union members in the ATA and the different provincial teachers unions are kind of pushed towards that. If you make these people the administrators, the superintendents, if you make this person the counselor on the school, if you put this person in an HR position, well, maybe we'll be friendlier with you. When really you're just stacking all of these administrative roles that are supposed
Yes.
to be able to keep,
Union in
things
check.
within the lines in schools. You're making them actually very union friendly, and they will always cave to them. And all these people saying, well, there's so much complexity in the classrooms these days with people who have, the kids with autism or kids who have English as second language. Blame the unions who keep incentivizing the bloating of these administrative roles in order to give these fake jobs to these loyal union members. Obviously, like schools need principals, but 20 years ago, you have a principal and you maybe have a vice principal if the school's big enough. Now you got 2 co-principals, you get 3 vice principals, you get 2 superintendents for the district. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
Sorry,
crazy.
and none
Like
of that. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry, babe.
Just none of that is really in the best interest of the students. I think we read in the story as well that the athletes were actually emailing this coach that was fired, and as well as the parents, saying that they are really disappointed with this decision and that they're going to miss him. So we can just really see that the school chose to take the ideological path instead of listening to the students again.
Yeah. He says that the administration has been out to get him for some time, beginning 4 years ago when he spoke out against COVID mandatory vaccination lockdowns and school closures. He says the principal is far left and woke, despite Sylvan Lake's reputation as a stridently conservative community. And that's so true. And we see this all the time where you have school boards, school administration, where they are completely not reflective of the cultural values of the communities in which they serve. It's just constant. And it's because of this cultural Marxism where, you got to get to the kids and get them first if you want to change the culture downstream. I liken these people to zombies or vampires. They don't procreate on their own. They don't replicate their ideology the good old-fashioned way like Lisa and I did with having a bunch of kids. They just infect other people's kids with their madness.
You have to inoculate. Yeah, we're at the place where we have to inoculate our own children against rampant radical leftist ideologies before we send them out the door to school. That's what conservative parents have to do.
Yeah. Let's jump ahead a